The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Some Sadducees who say there is no resurrection came to Jesus and put this question to him, saying, "Teacher, Moses wrote for us, if someone's brother dies, leaving a wife but no child, his brother must take the wife and raise up descendants for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers. The first married a woman and died, leaving no descendants. So the second brother married her and died, leaving no descendants. And the third likewise. And the 7 left no descendants. Last of all, the woman also died. At the resurrection, when they arise, whose wife will she be? For all 7 have been married to her." Jesus said to them, "Are you not misled because you do not know the scriptures or the power of God? When they rise from the dead, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but they are like the angels in heaven. As for the dead being raised, have you not read in the book of Moses, in the passage about the bush, how God told him, 'I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob'? He is not God of the dead, but of the living. You are greatly misled." The Gospel of the Lord. So remember, this whole conversation Jesus is having with the Sadducees is because the Sadducees do not believe in the resurrection. So they're trying to trip Jesus up, given this sort of absurd situation where a woman marries 7 brothers and they all die. Whose wife will she be? Jesus doesn't respond to the absurdity of that question, but he simply reminds them of something important for us to remember. Certainly, the relationships we share in this world are important. Certainly, the relationships we have, especially with spouses, with our families, with those who we're close to, those are important. That's what brings meaning to life. And certainly, our hope is also that we will share in eternal life with them. But we too oftentimes get caught up in how things work in this world. And Jesus is telling us that everything is going to be beyond our imagination. In this particular passage, he says it's not going to matter who they're married to because they're going to be like the angels. They're going to be experiencing God in a whole new way where all of us are united because of the love that we share. So it's a whole other reality that we're invited to share in because of that promise of eternal life Christ shares with us. And sometimes, I think it's important for us to remember that, especially as we get bogged down in the reality of this world. Sometimes the things that we deal with in this world can weigh us down. And we get so caught up in thinking, well, this is just the way the reality is. This is just the way things are going to be. And we lose hope and lose sight of everything that Christ is sharing with us, that we have that promise of eternity. We have that promise of life forever. We have that promise of God's love being with us always. And that should always bring us hope, rouse our souls to recognize the gift that we've been given, and cause us to go forth and live our relationships here even more fully, live our relationships here even more rooted in that love of God. That's what Jesus is asking for us. So as we go forth living our faith, especially in these difficult times that we live in, let's remember the gift that we've been given. And let's remember that this reality that we share in here is certainly important, but it's just a foretaste of all that's being promised to us by God. But every day we have an opportunity to share more fully that love that God has given to each of us.